New World Order, you underestimated the people. You took a gamble and you lost.
Okay, we don't like this. Okay, well then we're going to do this, and that is just how it's going to be.
Evidence brought to light that there is a corrupt officer, or that that officer did shoot that kid on purpose.
I don't care how I look, I don't care how I sound, I don't care what the beat is. I just care the message gets across.
Alright, part 2. Couldn't really tell you exactly where my part 1 left off because it just kind of severed it right down because of timing issues. But we're just going to keep going ahead. Talking about Americanism versus globalism. Okay? I agree with Trump on that part. It really should just be a whole lot of take care of your own country and not so much the other countries. I get it. When he starts talking about things, foolish things like putting up walls, non-issue to me. I get it. You know, there's drug cartels, there's people smuggling, there's this, there's that. I get it. But these problems were always there, and by putting a sophisticated deterrent will provide nothing more than a far more sophisticated way to bypass that deterrent, and this far more sophisticated way may be a hell of a lot harder to deal with than a few people carrying stuff on their backs and hoofing it across borders on foot. Oh, but it's so much worse than that. There's trucks, there's this, there's that. We're talking trillions or billions of dollars a year in drugs. This isn't no small issue. I get it. It's huge. But still, in the grand scope, it is so particularly small. Okay? When we worry about immigration, Mexicans coming to the United States, Americans coming to Canada, this is a non-issue. This is small. We're supposed to be focusing on world peace. We're supposed to be focusing on trying to not escalate conflicts. We're supposed to be focusing on maintaining appropriate information available for the people. We're supposed to be focusing on all of these things. Exactly where these people are in which country, especially when those countries are found on one continent. So whether my ass is found in Canada, United States, or Mexico, I'm still on the North American continent. Being required to track me so much? Nah. But see, that's the point. You see, in order to create a North American Union, they had to squeeze you a little bit. They squeeze you just enough. So you're like, man, this isn't comfortable. Why am I doing this? Oh, that's right, we get the borders. Right? But if those borders didn't exist, we could live under a little bit more of a freer society. But we don't live in a time where we can erase those borders because everybody's worried about the Mexican drug cartel, and the this, and the that, and all the things that are horrible in the world. Well, if we close the door for everything that was horrible in the world, none of us would ever leave our flipping houses, and you know it. So, going back to why I can't endorse particular candidates, I can agree with Trump on large issues. I disagree horribly with him on his small issues, and this is the problem, right? I don't like how he portrayed women. I disagree with that. It's a non-issue. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm not trying to be misogynistic, but what a man actually says to you is of little consequence to me when I'm trying to figure out whether or not this guy should be allowed to push the nuclear trigger. I don't care if he hates women. Is he a warmonger? Does he want more war? What's Trump's stance with Russia and the aggressions and the this and the that and so on and so forth? Trump believes that he could conduct adequate business with the Russians. What's very interesting is Vladimir Putin has come out stating that he could conduct business very rationally with Donald Trump. So will Donald Trump push the American population into war with Russia? Is he a warmonger? Not in that particular angle. Not from what I've figured out and understood. What about Hillary? I don't know what I can say about Hillary without getting fucking shot. But the truth is simple. You're about to elect a goddamn war criminal. George Bush is a war criminal after the shit that he did in Iraq. So the Americans have had presidents that are war criminals. It has happened. No one's proud of the grotesque things that take place on the battlefield. But you're about to actually elect somebody that's a war criminal already. Didn't even have time to have the power, the necessary and full extent of the American military might, and already became a war criminal. Benghazi is not a small issue. Benghazi is a 66 or 61 or fuck it, we'll say 50, just so we're not exaggerating. Benghazi was a large number of calls for help that were denied. And when you watch that little documentary that they have on that movie that came out there, that's about the Benghazi and the ambassador being killed, you could see all these military men extremely pissed. They can't move. They cannot go and do their job, do their duty, go and protect Americans. They were pissed. They did a very good job at portraying that in the film. But nobody really wanted to tell anybody why they were pissed and who it was that was pissing them off. They were pissed because they were being held back from doing their duty. No one really mentions who stopped them from doing their civic and military duty. That was Hillary Clinton. That was 66 or 50 times that they did not go and do what needed to be done. That's a lot of calls for help that got ignored. So if I am in the great country of Canada, get invaded by fucking North Korea, and I gotta call Hillary Clinton for help, how do you think this makes me fucking feel right now? Am I gonna be the same thing as the goddamn ambassador of Benghazi? Will American allies have to fear for the ability to respond to the call for help? That is who you're electing today. So this war could explode merely by your president not helping somebody. Your ally could quickly become your enemy because it lost too many soldiers because somebody did not help somebody. So Benghazi is not a small issue. It is a foreshadowing of what could become a huge military fucking travesty. This is why I don't talk very much anymore about Hillary Clinton. Because her policies are very intriguing to me and very dangerous to you. When we went to war in the early stages, and yes, I say we're all white, we all talk fucking English, we all watched the goddamn towers fall. Even though our prime minister at the time said, we are not with the terrorists, but we are not selling our water, and we're not going with you to Iraq. We did that because Iraq was an illegal war. Once the United Nations sanctioned Afghanistan, which became a legal war, we were right fucking there. So we're no better than the rest of the people. We're a bunch of white English people killing Muslims. That's what we're doing, okay? So, moving right along. Hillary Clinton has beautiful quotes stating that these men have no brass, no balls. They don't want to do what needs to be done. We're at war and there's toys. And she literally said it. Toys left on the top shelf that no one's touching. I don't understand why. Do you want to know what Madam Rodham Clinton stated was a goddamn toy? Your armory of weapons of mass destruction of any caliber. Nuclear, biological, chemical, and things that I don't even know fucking exist. But she decided to so eloquently refer to all of that beautiful carnage as toys. So, Trump, Clinton, rigged election, not rigged election. Should he concede appropriately? Should he force the recounts and really make sure shit was done right? I don't know. But you guys are literally being served two halves of the same shit sandwich. You can put as much cheese on that motherfucker as you want. It is still a shit motherfucking sandwich. Okay? If I give you a fucking sandwich with 98% shit and 2% ham, are you prepared to call this a ham sandwich? This is where you guys are going. So this is a very interesting, pivotal time. Be safe. Feel safe. Do not feel fear. Don't do that. Not today. Too late to be afraid. Too fucking late to be afraid. Now you must act. And if you do not act with the pen, if you do not act with the vote, You may be forced to act with the gavel. And if the gavel fails you, which we have figured out the justice system unfortunately does in a great many of circumstances, you'll be forced to act with powder. And when you act with black powder, when you act with firearms, this becomes irrational, this becomes terroristic, this becomes militant, this becomes the true nature of revolution and revolt. So in order to actually prevent the foolishness known as revolution, allow us to appropriately on this day give birth to the Renaissance. If you do not know the difference between these two R words, it is extremely important that you do. Revolution means you despise everything about your country and you will burn it to the motherfucking ground and rebuild that bitch right back up. Do you honestly believe that is what is required today? I do not. A renaissance is when the people of the country take control of the power gavels and the power structures found within that country. And renaissance, it's French, it means rebirth. To bring forward a rebirth within the country's established system and rule. For instance, marijuana is illegal. Well, within this rebirth, we're just going to say that's not the case this time, alright guys? Yeah, we still have the courts, we still have the jails, we still have the police, we still have order and structure, but we're changing some shit. We're going to reappropriate what we have to live in a civil society. We're going to redefine fucking civil society, where the word fucking don't offend you that much anymore. It shouldn't. Where words and images and nonsense shouldn't offend you anymore. And I am probably the largest hypocrite out there, considering I made the largest outburst regarding a fucking meme on the internet that I look back on today and say, wow, God, I was fucking dumb. But because of my standards, it will not be removed. I cannot allow it to be removed. It was a step through my progression into becoming who I am today and realizing what you guys can do. But today's the day. You can put Jill Stein in a more powerful position and bring clarity to the globe in 2020, in 4 more years, when there's another election, and you could actually kick the Democrat and Republican Party as a whole out of your electorate systems and bring in your third party. But you must have a strong third party to do so. To do that, you would have to exercise strategic voting today. Today, motherfucker, today! You have to exercise strategic voting and allow your third party to gain the appropriate strength that it will require for 2020. Oh, y'all thought I was a fucking dumbass, didn't you? Y'all thought I was just some fucking redneck hick up in Canada with a little bit too much snow and plays around with too many fucking snakes. It's not just a hat rack, guys. It's going to take time. It always was going to take time. You were never ever going to be able to successfully interrupt President Obama's presidential 8-year term. You weren't going to be able to do that. You had to wait till today to do it. To get him out of the office and to put in who you want in. But you guys have a fiasco on your plate now, don't you? It's so eloquently, disastrously done that it had to have been done by design. But hey, you will overcome. You are American, and you have the means to protect yourselves and to live freely and safely. But not if you let it get to your skull. Not if you allow it to become too much pressure on your own physical being. Today's the day that you fight. Today's the day that you go and you vote and you begin a protest line outside every motherfucking polling station. Peaceful? Of course it's got to be peaceful. And you protect your ballots. If you have a legal conceal and carry, I suggest you conceal and carry, and I suggest that you stay outside the fucking ballots for the rest of the godforsaken day. You are now on guard, soldier. You now have shit that needs to be done. If you do not have a conceal and carry, you do have states where if you have a nice, beautiful fucking rifle slinged out way out in the open, you are well abiding by the law. You go and you protect your ballots. Those of you within the established building in power structures, if you feel that the ballot is being tampered with, you immediately find the closest armed patriot to fix that shit. And how would we fix that shit? We would immediately contact the authorities. But that armed patriot can actually stop the action that is taking place at that time until the authorities come. Motherfucker, if you try to rig that polling station one more time, I will fucking shoot you. Don't move until the cops get here. Not a real unrealistic claim, is it? It's not hard to fucking do. So, let's do it. Peaceful protest. You're going to be armed. You're going to protect the vote. You're going to protect the ballot. You're going to do what needs to be done. You're going to do it, God help us all, without firing a shot. I didn't even mention that Hillary Clinton receives money from the people who give money to ISIS. Now that's fucking huge. What does that mean? I am the king of Saudi Arabia. And to this hand I have Hillary Clinton. And to this hand I have ISIS. My bank account will fund millions into both hands. That is what has happened. The emails are there to prove it. Do you really want the person to be your president to be on the same payroll? Not the one dishing out the money, paying. Do you want your president to be on the same payroll as the leader of ISIS? Is that what you want? You want your commander-in-chief, you want your president, the one that has the finger on the nuclear motherfucking trigger, you want that person to accept money from the same people that fund ISIS? I thought you were blowing ISIS to shit. Interestingly enough, the American government can never ever say that they don't know where the money for ISIS is coming from because they get the same fucking money. They can't stop ISIS because they're going to bite the hand that feeds them. America, it's time to become a rabid dog, motherfuckers, and bite some motherfucking hands because you're about to get sold out. Banks got bailed out, we got sold out. You are about to be sold out in a way that you have never, ever understood. You don't even properly understand the Palestinian and Israeli conflict, and you don't even realize that one of your candidates is pro-Palestinian and one of your candidates is pro-Israeli. So depending on who you vote for will depend on how long the war lasts. And you don't even know who's who. Would you like me to tell you, make it a little bit easier for you? Okay. Trump has businesses with Muslim people. He does business with Muslim people. Good, clear-cut business. Not afraid to talk about it. Doesn't like doing business with Israel. Not a big fan of what Israel has done to the Palestinian people. Did not take any money from Israeli lobbyists. His AIPAC speech was very interesting. Not pro-Israeli, Mr. Trump is. Miss Clinton, she's ready to give Israel all the weapons they want. Clinton, she's ready to do everything to help Israel. The problem is, Israel's a fucking terrorist state. Israel is bombing schools and hospitals. Israel is doing some really shady shit right now. So which president do you want? The one that's going to tell Israel to cool it so we can figure out peace in the Middle East, or the one that's going to say, how many nukes do you need? These are topics of huge magnitude. And your two candidates know all about these issues, and not one of them's fucking talking about it. Never listen to what they disagree on. I want you guys, for the rest of the time you have left, okay, to go up and pull up every speech, every debate, everything, and smash it together. And I want you to tell me what they agree on. I don't want you to tell me what they disagree on and whose policy is better on that topic. I want you to tell me all the issues that the candidates actually agree on. Those are the dangerous issues. Those are the ones that are going to matter the most. Because those are the ones where the Rothschilds and families and whatnots have stated, it don't matter which one of you motherfuckers win, but if you win, you better do this. Therefore, both candidates agree. Regardless of who wins, if you find out what issues that these guys agree on, you will find the agenda that is laid out that will go forward for the next 4 years. Just find the issues they agree on. This is not a happy day. If this doesn't go right, and it can't go right because the whole fucking thing is wrong. So, enjoy your election day, party it up, and have fun. Love each other. Don't hurt each other. And Christ almighty, I don't know, hug a Jew, hug a Muslim, and try and figure out what the fuck is going on that end of the world. Because what's going on that end of the world will